3 fast ways to run your business on systems and double your profits. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Tom Rolley. It is a public holiday here in Australia. We are definitely heading into spring. Daylight savings times just kicked in. So already it's 10 past 4. The sun's out. My wife said, hey, let's go to the beach. But before I do that, before we head to the beach, I wanted to share with you an interesting insight that I had. And this is looking at the 3 things that you must have in place if you're looking to run your business on systems. And in the early stages, this can be quite confusing. If you're trying to run your business, you're like, man, we just need to get stuff done. I'm just going to use whatever tools we've got. And that's totally cool. And you see the difficulty is, though, that those tools are not necessarily obvious what they're actually doing. So what I wanted to share with you was those 3 fast ways. What are you going to need? Well, you're going to need somewhere to store your files. So that might sound extraordinarily obvious. Of course, you need a drive or a Dropbox or a box, but somewhere where you're going to put the work of your business and store it. Hopefully, you have some kind of organizational strategy for this, but even if you don't, you still need somewhere to put the files. So that's the first thing. Not very difficult, pretty easy to take care of. Let's go into the second. So the second is some way of tracking who's doing what. Also typically known as project management, but you do not need project management software in the early days. You can easily do this on Excel. What? Excel? Excel's free. Yeah, well, you can use Sheets as well. Excel or Sheets will do it. Up until the time that you start really needing to scale and having separate logins for people so that they can track who's doing what and all that sort of stuff, that's when project management takes your skill sets that you learned in Excel and Sheets, getting the work tracked, and you put it into project management. Now you have something that is actually valuable there. So first up, we've got somewhere to keep your files. Second, we've got somewhere to track your work. And the third is some way of keeping your documentation. Now, usually this is going to be done once again in Google Docs or Word at the early stages. But as you expand and grow, then you're going to need to go to SOP management software, standard operating procedure software. Now, this could be something like Trainual, this could be something like Process Street, this could be something like System Hub. All of these will store your process documentation. It will also store all your templates for perhaps your web page copy or your emails or text messages or Messenger, all of those scripts that go in there. So that is another requirement for a business to scale. Now you get all 3 of those in place, and now you've got the structure that will allow you to rapidly scale. And as you go ahead and you outgrow the basic software, a la Google Docs and Google Sheets or Word and Excel, then you know what to expand to. Okay, so you're going to take your Excels that are managing who's doing what and take them into the project management system. And you're going to take your documentation for your processes out of Google Docs and stick them into a System Hub. This will allow you to scale. Why? Because now you have everything in its right place. You have somewhere where the work that is produced is stored. That's your online file service. Now you've got somewhere where you track who's doing what. That is your project management software. And you have somewhere that tracks your systems and processes and templates. And that is your SOP software. How you put all of these together is critical. It's easy to mess it up. It's really easy to set up stuff that doesn't work that well. But if you don't get this on point, then you will never scale. You will run into a management overhead where everything slows down. And in the early days, when you bring your team into these kinds of structures, you might have resistance. They might kick up a stink and say, hey, we don't want to track our work. We don't want to use the instructions. It's quicker if we don't track and we don't use the instructions, which is true until they make one mistake. Now, most likely they're not going to make one mistake. There's going to be multiple mistakes, and you're going to end up with quality control problems. You're going to have lead problems, sales problems. Generally, this is going to leave you telling people what to do. This sucks. This is no fun. The overhead management, when you do not have all three of these in place, will limit your capacity to double your profits, to double your revenue, to do anything. My wife works for a fashion company. I don't know what the exact numbers are, 40, 50 million. I was like, hey, if you want to run a business, then you're going to need these things in place. And I ran her through them. I'm like, hey, you need this file storage structure thing. You need a project management thing. And you need a systems operations processes software. She's like, yep, we got all of those. Interesting. 40, 50 million in revenue. Do they have those things on point? Hell yeah, they do. Could they have got to 40 or 50 without them? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely that you could actually hit those numbers. Why? Because people don't scale. Processes scale, systems scale, and here are the three things that you must have in place if you want to double your revenue, double your profits, and start allowing your business to serve you and create the life that you want. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed laying that out just very clearly. Here are the three things that you need if you want to scale. If you want some help, reach out to me at systemio.dev. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow as we continue to explore the power of systems to create results. See you then.